Major Key Podcast, Season 3, Episode 6. We in the building. Let's get monies to the top. Ain't no coming down. This episode, this week, I got Elle Vintage in the building. What a pleasure, what an honor to have you here with us. Let's get money.
Oh, let's get it, man. Let's get it.
Yes, indeed. And this is the first time we have a poet in the building. The first time we have an artist of this type of magnitude in the building. We met a few years ago, and you know, as we were talking right before the show, there's people that ask, so what you been up to? What you been doing? You know, we networked and we pretty much connect and stay in connection through social media. And you've been working.
Always.
You've been working.
There's never a dull moment. You can't stop working. Number one, to stop working means you sleep on your craft, you sleep on a game, you miss something. It's like you know, to all my brothers who are in lockdown, when you have that is when you have that moment where you're away from the world and you're behind the walls that are caved in, you don't have windows.
Right.
Come back out into civilization, you're like, yo, things have changed. You miss things.
Right.
So you can't sleep on anything. You gotta, my mom used to tell me, you never leave a doorknob unturned. You go into that door, you walk in that door, you be confident, you do what you got.
I like that.
You get up out of there.
Yeah.
And my boys, shout out to Thad G, he used to always say, yo, you drop nuggets and then you bounce on us for like mad long. You never come back. And I'm like, it's not that. It's just that I'm watching from behind the scenes. So it's just.
I also think you're here in spirit.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people that I know this moment was gonna happen.
Yeah, man.
And I already been here with you.
Word, man.
That's how I feel like within spirit. And timing is everything. God has control over everything, as we know. You know, in life, if you're spiritually inclined. But this moment was already here for me. And as I said, it's a pleasure to have you on Major Key Podcast. This season has been completely different than any other season we've done. And it's more getting the story of the artist, or in your case, well, you're an artist all the way around. You're an artist. You're a creator. You're a content creator. But to me, you're more of the way you put these words together.
Amen.
You're more of a poet. You're fluent with it, and you're very, very in tune when it comes to utilizing your words and your word game. So
gotta be.
Let's touch on that. Let's get right into it. You know, Elle Vintage on Major Key Podcast. This is a blessing. But let's jump right into it. When did you find that in you? When did you find that craft? Because it's totally different than anything I've ever touched, and anything that I've really dipped into. So give us a little history. You know, starting early. When did you find that ability to use your words like that?
I think I found it when I became lost. You know, like growing up, you know, my family was one of those families, we sheltered each other. It wasn't like we sheltered like we covered it. But we had, you know, you got your 3, 6, 12 and you got your 9, you know what I mean? So
watching each other's back.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So all the way around you had coverage.
Right.
And for the most part, for me, it was like I always was the caregiver. You know, my job was to watch out for your brothers, no matter how old they were. So my brothers are older than me. Watch out for your brothers, watch out for your cousins, watch out for your nephews. And I learned to be that. I learned to be that coverage a lot early in my life. Okay. You know what I mean? I learned to be able to take care of everybody.
That blanket in a sense, right?
You know what I mean? So my whole life, that's what I've done. Right. And yet taking care of everybody else kind of left me in the background. Like, you know, I'm sheltered, but everybody forgets about me because I'm supposed to be good. I'm good. I smile. That's Elle. She's good. She's the lovey of everybody. You know, she loves everybody. She does what we ask. I was the yes ma'am, no sir kind of person. You know what I mean? So I lost myself. And in the meantime, of me losing myself, the loss that the person that I lost the most was me. You know what I'm saying? And you
lost a piece of yourself. Trying to help everybody else.
That's bogus. That part right there, that piece, when you lose yourself, you don't know what your voice is. You don't know who you are. You don't know what you're looking for. You don't know why you do certain things. It became a poison to me because like, yo, I'm asking about certain things, but everybody's doing everything and they forget about you. Right. You know what I mean? Only thing you're supposed to do is be where we ask you to be. At the time we ask you to be there and make sure you cover everybody else. 3, 6, 9, and 12. Okay, cool. And that's what I've always done. And then thank God that I was able to travel for school, because I went to college in Norfolk, Virginia.
Shouts to that. You get a
757. Everybody shout
Graduate,
out.
right?
Hampton.
Graduate?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Hampton
You in a
Roads
sorority?
community.
Sorority?
Nah, man, I never pledged. I always wanted to pledge, but I became the big brother, big sister kind of person. So and then I went to culinary school.
Okay.
So I'm a culinarian. That's why I went to school at Johnson and Wales University. Yeah.
Right.
Shout out to them Wildcats. But so while I was in Virginia,
right,
I really started to like see the things that peaked the most. Like, this is what I love. Wow. How do you do that? So I got a chance to taste a little of the outside life without having the shelter of that 3, 6, 9, and 12. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got to experience a lot of things, and that's what.
And you got to step out.
Right. You got to step out of your shell. So, and then I got married a little earlier than I should have. I shouldn't have even touched it, but I did.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? It comes with experience. It's one of those things where you did it, you learned. Yeah.
And now I don't regret it, but I realized, this part and these things, that's not who I am.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But do you think, not to cut you off, but do you think without going through it, would you have known?
Nah, I wouldn't have. And I wouldn't be with my love now.
Shouts to your love. She in the background.
Yeah, she in the background. The boss is in the building. So the thing about it is though, if you don't know who you are, you don't know what to expect, you don't know how to challenge yourself to be better, you can't be better for nobody else if you're not better for you. You're like, you become that poison. You become that cutoff. Like, I don't want to deal with you. You bitter, you ugly. I don't got time for that.
Right.
And so all of that accumulated into who I am.
Okay.
Right. As a writer, I've been writing since the second grade.
Wow.
Literally.
That's what, like 10?
Man.
Right? That's like 10, 11.
10.
Yeah, that's a nice age.
My second grade teacher, I used to tell her some of the things that I had experienced. By that age, I had already been sexually molested.
Oh, wow.
I had been around drugs, alcohol, guns, those kind of things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
you experienced some hardship already.
It was trauma.
That's a young age to deal with that.
Traumatizing to go through a lot of that, see it, and actually experience those things. And now fast forward, I just turned 41 yesterday.
Oh, happy birthday! Look at that. I'm telling you, energy is real. Happy birthday on Major Key Podcast, man. Let's get money. Yes.
So I didn't even expect to live past 17.
Oh, wow.
And that's crazy, because in the 80s and the 90s, that was the lifespan.
Right.
Look at it now. It's 13, 14, 15.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, time changes.
Yeah, man. So,
but damn, 17. So, where did that mentality come from? As far as how did you think? What your surroundings, seeing people not make it past 17, things like that.
That I think the first time I actually seen a body is probably like around 15, 16.
Wow.
And the crazy part about it is it blocked off so much in my mind, like, yo, that didn't happen.
Right.
That's not true. Like, and then so you begin to suppress certain things.
Right.
You know what I mean? And people
try to almost go into denial.
Yeah.
Right.
You block it off and you push it in the back of your mind.
Right.
But you'll never forget it.
Right.
You never forget it.
Yeah.
None but the grace of God that I made it this far. You know what I'm saying? So, come on.
Yeah.
So it's crazy how life just kind of kept turning and burning for me, and I always say, like, yo, God knew where he needed me to be.
Right.
And in order for me to get there, I had to go through some things that was traumatizing, some things that maybe it wasn't for me to go through it, but I went through it. He used me as the vessel. Now I'm trying to tell everybody else, like, yo, these kind of things happen for real.
Right.
And if you don't have the mind state, mental illness is crazy right now. I should have been dead a long time ago.
Right.
Because I should have been crazy.
Yeah, through the things that you've seen and the traumatic experiences that you have had. Yeah, it would burn anybody. Yeah, it would burn.
15, I was gang raped.
Wow.
I talk about it a lot in my spoken word. I was gang raped. And the guys that did it, they were no older than me.
Wow.
And I often think about, I've never once approached any one of them since that happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I always wonder about what they think. Like, what transpired in their minds. I see some of them whose lives look like boogeymen in the daytime, literally like spaced out corners. But I often wonder, like, yo, in the middle of the night, did God talk to you? Did you have that conversation like, yo, I should have never did that? Right. Did you ever think about coming back to rectify? Did you ever think about, yo, what happens down the road with my little girls and my little boys? Because some of them, I take care of their little girls and little boys with my employment now, because I've always worked in the school district, and I've always worked as a mentor out in the streets and take care. And I see some of these kids and I'm like, yo, they need somebody that's going to tell them. Yeah. You don't have to be like this. Yeah. And you don't have to live that life. Right. And it's okay to say no. It's okay to be like, yo, I'm a virgin and I'm 34. It's okay. That is okay. Right. Because you're saving yourself for that person that's really going to love you for who you are. You know what I mean?
See, society, I don't think we think it's okay.
Right.
We don't make it normal to be okay. Yeah.
Right.
And we get stuck into, you a virgin at 36 years old. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
So,
they make it be like, that's a curse. That's not.
So for people that do think it's normal, it's almost like you're the minority in a sense, and it's a shame, but it's the world we live in. And I say it all the time. I say it on my morning show. I call it repeated history. Yeah. We say like history, like no, this is something that's happened and it's continued to happen. Continued history. It is. So in a sense, what do? We as people that we know better, we're enlightened. We try to, like what we're doing now. We try to talk to others and try to make it a situation where we try to get others to understand. So throughout the other experiences that you have had, it seems like you embodied this way of speaking to people and utilizing what you've been through. Yeah. But the way you do it, let's tap into that. The way you do it, and when did you find a way, find that you knew how to utilize these words like that? The artistry form of the way to speak to people is completely different.
I think through that trial and error, like every atmosphere I step into, it's something transpires. It's like, this is not, and I've changed. Like, if I go into an atmosphere and I got a set list of work that I'm going to do, because I got some major stuff and I have like pieces that are popular pieces that no matter where I go, there's always someone in a crowd that requests that specific piece. Right. And no matter where I go, I always fill out the intensity and the spirit of the crowd. Yeah. You know what I mean? Before I walk on the stage. Right. And sometimes God be like, nah, we ain't doing that today. Right. Do this. No doubt it was requested. Right. But shifted into that. Like, I hear it and I see it and I'm like, oh. Yeah. Oh, no. And here's something. This is crazy. It's a fun fact that I never tell anybody. I have a form of a dyslexia. Okay. It's never been diagnosed. But I realized it when I got older, and I never talk about it. You know what I mean? But when as an artist, I never record anything first. Like if I'm by myself and I got my headphones in and I hear something, I'm gonna drop that on. You know what I mean? Record it so I can hear my vocals back to me. But if something drops in my spirit right away, I spit that joint right off the top of my head. Yeah. But because of my dyslexia, I have to have it recorded. So everywhere people see me, they see me with my phone. I record whatever I'm going to do.
On like your notes?
Yeah. I put it out and I let it record because I have to go back and listen to it in order to begin to practice it and remember it. And it's crazy. People be like, yo, you just did that off the... Yeah. But because that's my gift and that's where I let God do what he does. Right. Because it comes within the moment. Yeah. You just need that bullet point. That's it. I got you. I'm with you on that. So I curate and create, and it's crazy. I curate and create just like that. Right. You know what I mean? I could be in a booth and I could hear something in my ears for like maybe 2 or 3 minutes. I'm like, all right, shut it off. Right. And then I start hearing how the words should come, and I start either writing it down or I start going off the top of my dome.
Yeah, that's a good way to utilize your craft. You know, a lot of people, they have to write it and be right there, and then they read it back and do it up. But everybody has their own way of doing stuff. You know, that's a good way. And then to acknowledge the dyslexia and to be able to still work through that, you know, that's a gift within itself. Because I
have to. Yeah. It's crazy when people be like, "Yo, you did that joint in one take." Yeah, man. There's no second, third, fourth, fifth, or 100th take. We're not doing all of that. We're going to go ahead, lay this down, handle this business, and then if we got to take stuff out while we're, that studio life is different. You know what I mean?
Right, absolutely. You got
technology today, like you could do a vocal override, or you could change chords right in the middle of what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it just makes it turns out to make the experience better.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
as an engineer too, you appreciate those little things, like, cause man, having some people inside the booth is not what it is sometimes, man. Shout out to everybody tuning in on Facebook Live. It's Major Key Podcast, Season 3, Episode 6. We have Elle Vintage in the building, spoken words, official artist. The list goes on and on and on.
Yeah,
when it comes to, we getting her story, we getting everything that she's been through, in her life. Ups and downs, but she's here, and it's a pleasure to have you here. Shouts to everybody tuning in on topclassradio.com and the Top Class Radio app. Everybody listening right now, we really appreciate it, man. So jumping back, it sounds like you have that hip hop feel too. You be in the booth, you got bars.
Yeah, I got it all. I do it all. Beatbox. Don't tell nobody. That's the hidden secret.
That's the hidden secret.
Only bring that out if I gotta shut people down at the last moment. Oh, you want to do it like that, huh?
You got that too, huh?
Hold that thought. I'll be right back.
So the rapping and all that goes hand in hand, I would say, with poetry. What came first? Was it you being the first time I met you? Let's stop for a second. The first time I met you was a few years ago, and we had a showcase. Rest in peace. I just was enlightened and found out Miss Phyllis, she passed away, man. And it was a pleasure to meet her when I did. She put a showcase together, and we were part of it too, as a collective, as a company. We were there. You were there. You actually won the whole thing.
Yo, man.
And when I heard you,
it was going neck and neck.
It was you and Quasi, I think, the singer.
Yeah,
they played the guitar and all that. It was, and there was a lot of other people. Shouts to everybody else that was there as well. But
crazy.
You took it by storm. You just grabbed, and like you said earlier, you felt, it looked like you did. You felt the audience, and you just gave us, man. I was impressed.
Yeah, man.
So my question to you is, what came first? Was it the poetry or the hip hop side? You rapping? I mean, it's almost the same, but rapping over bars, over beats and things, it's a little different. What came first for you?
Hip hop's in my blood, man.
Okay.
Hip hop's in my blood. Started back in the day when the old synthesizer keyboards, you used to have the actual synthesizer on the keyboard.
On the keyboard, yeah, I still got one like that.
The tape deck under the inside.
The hard drive,
big
all that.
Casio joint. My brother used to.
The workstation.
Yo, man, listen, my brother brought one home one time, and I was in love. I'm like, yo, what are we doing with that? And he used to look at me like, nothing. But shout out to my brother, the poet. That's the real poet, Mike.
What's his name? Mike?
His name is Mike. Michael Crisp.
Shouts to Michael Crisp.
Yeah, man. Everybody used to call him the poet. Because, this is what I fell in love with it by listening to my brother.
Okay.
And my family, we used to sit around the couch and just go ham on different works of arts like Langston Hughes and Paul Orange Dunbar.
At the same time watching the 369.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
You gotta be. I'm listening.
Who's doing it?
Okay, yeah.
But it was bred into us at a young age.
Right.
And when hip hop came into being, man, it was just like a sound that you knew was curated from the gods. It was like, do you hear that beat? Do you hear that music? Rakim, you know what I mean? That Sugar Hill Gang, that Treacherous 3, all of that.
It was different.
Yeah, it was different. It was a sound. MC Light, Queen Latifah, I still listen. There's never a day that goes by where I don't have somebody from the old school playing and bumping.
Yeah.
Heavy D, you know what I mean? It's just, you knew for a fact that you could take that music and it would make you feel a certain type of way, and you could actually maneuver your words over it. That's how it was for me.
Yeah.
It was like, yo, I heard that beat. Blah, 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 blah. No, like, oh.
Yeah, captivated.
Yeah. So, and people, I kept silent because I was always silent. I was very shy and timid when I was.
No way.
Yeah, man.
You were quiet?
Man, listen, this part of me didn't come into being until I was like 14, 15.
Your teenage years, okay, yeah, it came out of you. Yeah, I got you.
But I was that one that would just sit back and watch and observe. I'm always observing first, you know what I mean? And so I would listen and I would hear everybody spitting their bars, and I would listen to my brother, and I'm like, yo, how you do that? Tell me again. Say it again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I have a thing for words. and the way people speak them. Like, they call me the I always be correcting people. They be like, look, here she go with this prolific stuff. Listen, but I love the way words formulate and hear people speak them.
Do you read a lot?
Yes.
Okay.
I do.
That's it. That's key. Everybody watching right now.
Yeah, read. You got to study, man. You got to research. You got to dig into those things. And so when I find a word that intrigues me, I will study that word for 2 to 3 months.
Wow.
And then I'll start, while I'm studying it, I'll be weaving it into different things.
Right, you're using it. You're utilizing it. Right.
And then I will tell people what the meaning of it is and apply it to whatever I'm doing in my life. And I'm like, yo, now I realize why that word is so powerful. Right. So hip hop definitely took the cake first. I heard poetry, I knew poetry, but hip hop, by the time I became like able to speak my own voice, I was listening to the drawing of hip hop. It's what drew me in. It's what saved my life. Wow. It's what kept me going. Literally. Wow. You know what I mean? Music is powerful. Yeah, powerful, man. And it transcends into everything you do. Like, you could hear something today and you'd be like, yo, that tune is still in my head. Yeah. And I listen to, now mind you, I'm a kid of all genres. I'm an old school baby at heart, but I listen to all genres. I listen to heavy metal. Some days when I'd be like, yo, my brain is like in chaos. Like, I gotta listen to something that's gonna break this thing down. Yeah. I was telling my honey today, I was like, that's a little bit of schizophrenia, a little bipolar, a little Tourette's. You never know what you're going It's a mixture of everything. So blend it up. It's just everything just comes together. When you love music, it doesn't matter what genre it is. You hear something in every aspect of music that you like. Oh, and to love music like you love music, it shows because not everybody could do that. Yeah, some people are just stuck on one type of genre of music. You got to be diverse and you got to expand. But no doubt. So, but I always knew that poetry was my thing. Okay. You know what I mean? Once I found my voice, I'm like, yo, this is it. This is my thing. You know what I mean? I don't gotta be an MC for nobody. But when it comes to them bars over that mic, as Elle Vintage, that mic stand and that stage, I'm telling you right now, I'm burning that joint down. Ain't nobody taking over. I'm burning it down. So right now you at 15, 16, you catching that voice, you catching that sound, you finding that, yo, I got it. That's when Elle Vintage really pretty much grew. The rose that grew from concrete was there, right? Yeah. I didn't have my name though until I became out. Elle Vintage didn't come into place until I was like 26 or 27. Okay. I was Elle, then I was Elle Soul, then I was like, you know what I mean, L'Oreal. I'm L'Oreal. But Elle Vintage took on its own personality. Right. It's a mixture of my name and the old school baby that I am. You know what I mean? That old school love, that antique, that irony that shows you like, yo, that road might be a new road, but if I take this back road, that joint gonna split off into 3 different atmospheres. And you know what I mean? That's what y'all get. Y'all get caught up in the new roads and you stuck behind that bridge, that drawbridge. And I went the other way. You know what I'm saying? But if I take Black Horse Pike all the way out 322, I see you when I see you. And I'm gonna do like 60. You got to understand the journey. Like, just because it happens in one way doesn't mean that it's a negative aspect. You got to see that thing in 360. You know what I'm saying? Right. And know like, yo, I got to adjust to this. Right. Like, I'm very versatile. People be like, yo, can you do this? Can you do that? Can you come down to the and I'm not Muslim. Shout out to my Muslima brothers, my Muslima sisters and my Muslim brothers. I'm not Muslim. I'm Christian. Mm-hmm. But I can go at Mubarak, you know what I'm saying? Right. And if they need me to recite something at the dinner or the celebration, I can go and do whatever you do. Yeah. What do you need me to do? Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen your Instagram. I've seen your work, and you can do that and on the fly. Testimony right there. As a matter of fact, I think you got something right now on the fly, don't you? Always, man, always. Let's hear something right now on the fly, just like that. That's how we're gonna do it. Just because I walk through the door doesn't mean that the windows and the window panes stay locked.
Okay.
They say pull up the shade so you can see the sunlight coming in, beam, 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 beam right off your head, so you can see that the Godhead, the body, the Son, the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost is where it's at. Like they showed you the oil that ran down Aaron's beard, the tears that came out of Ruth's eyes, the ark that Noah built with his bare hands, and then they tell you, no, there's no curse, there's no cause, there's no way. We got to make a path, because see, for you to stay blind, be ignorant tomorrow, tonight, today, would mean that you don't listen into your ears. Your eardrums are banging and blinging for no reason, because you're not taking the time to listen to the Father's words. You're not taking the time to listen. Take heed. Even the old head out on the street would say, yo, young blood, get off these streets. Sometimes the times when they turn, they're not where you need to be. Just listening to the streets, the wind that causes you and me to come together. We meet at a certain spot. We call that the union, the get up, come to the pool table. Let's bust these 8 balls out and let's go back and forth over the green and skip and throw rocks so you can hear the water whisking between our teeth. I mean, the chicken bones we throw out there on the beach because we slurping down dinner and sodas, acting like we really hungry when no, we just chopping it up, just skipping the beat, because the old heads on the street need to know that you love them like they love you, and like God loves we, the God body, the Son, the Father, and the daughters. The people of this earth need to know that there's a place to breathe, because my God, there's no reason why you should ever think that there was no need for you, your blood. Like, man, like this Major Keys, man, this podcast means that everything is going to be all right in these streets, because somebody heard little old me ask me what my story is to be, and I tried to tell them that, yo, it was a time and a day, a moment in life where I didn't think I had a place to be, but God designated me just as a vessel written across these scribes so that my love would know that she was worth it in this life. Just tell her she's worth it. Just tell her she's the best mother could be. See, sometimes they treat us single queens like they ain't shit out here in these streets, but they forgot that we all belong to the G-O-D, and sometimes your journey means it's just a little bit tighter and a little bit darker, but that's just keep going through the tunnel, because the light gets a little bit brighter, and don't get a little darker, because every time the clouds resonate over the high skies, 12 noon is coming and by, sweet Lord, woo, we going to the barbecue, cousin Pete waiting for us on the side, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I need a little bit of that. Yo, I'm gonna stop because I keep going.
You can keep going. This is your day, but listen here. The message, it just goes through your body. You give people the chills. You give me the chills. I'll speak for myself. You give me the chills, and the understanding, the like I said, the message, man, is just so powerful. If you didn't get that, if you didn't hear it, you can play it back. You play it back.
Rewind that joint. And you get. You should have got it the first time, but take it to the family reunion and tell them that you need to see Cousin Pete. Give me a plate. Came down to see Cousin Pete.
You just embodied everything you've been through. A person like you, man, I look up to.
Word, man.
On some real G, like on some real stuff. You inspired me because I could see your story. You coming from, a hardship, man. When you really have it like you, and you've been through enough, God only knows what else He has for you. Amen. And I know you're gonna be resilient. Hey. But your story is so powerful,
Sit back,
so impactful.
Patiently waiting, like where we going next?
Speaking of which, what do you have next, man? You have a lot of, like I say, you have a lot of shows, a lot of things that you have done. What do you see next? You continue on with your spoken words and things like that, but what big move you got coming?
Oh yeah. Well, right now I'm working on getting audio out. I have books. I have books for days. I'm a part of 2 anthologies of women, a collective of women. We put out 2 anthologies during the pandemic. My Life a Neat Mess and Her Path After Her Pain, which has greatly been a blessing into my life. And in both books, I actually have a whole chapter in one and about maybe 3 or 4 pieces in the other. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Shalonda Austin and Jasmine Moore.
Shout out to
that brought all of these women together from across the globe and decided, we got to get these stories out here. And when I tell you when I did Her Path After Her Pain, I literally sitting at the computer, I was crying, literally typing and crying and shaking. And like, yo, how am I going to get this out? How am I going to get this out? And I'm like, okay, you got to do this. You got to do this. You got to do this. So just getting those stories out and just really talking to people about gang rape culture, you know, being a sexual assault advocate, just a lot of things have transpired. But look at what God, you know, the doors that's opened up is ridiculous. I also did some work with Mr. Robert Laws, Bobby Laws, and we put out a video that actually surfaced through a lot of major channels, BT, Lifetime, PHL 17, Channel 6, and it was a sexual assault awareness video.
Okay.
And won us a prestigious award. Not that we was looking for one, but we just wanted to get the message out there about rape culture and sexual assault.
Okay.
And the sisters that took part in it, Miss Tashira Amour and Miss Cecilia Davis, did some major things. You know what I mean? We're all doing major things. So shout out to them as well. But we are really pushing this thing of sexual assault, you know, and it's not just for women, it's for men too. Right. You know, this
happens in all facets of life.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. And the one thing that we realize that's happening now is that it's happening to teenagers, and they don't know how to talk to you. We see a world of teenagers that are literally running away from home.
Right.
What is the reason behind running away from home? And, you know, just getting out there and making sure that our teens have someone they can confide in, talk, you know what I mean? So right now I'm into the mentoring, but I'm still doing a lot. I'm really drumming up a one-woman show. Okay. For Elle Vintage, and so I'm scripting it and everything, and it's going to be crazy once
I'm coming.
It's done. Yo,
you send me all this. You know I'm there. Network is the best work. I'm all about supporting. I'm all about showing love, man. And speaking of which, shouts to DJ Abel, Sean Wright. He just had 789, man. I wasn't able to. I bought the tickets and I wasn't able to make it that night. My apologies, man. Right on air, I'm gonna do that. I'm like that. I'm genuine like that.
One broken patella later, I'm missing the 789. Man, listen.
And that party's official, man.
I know it is.
I'll be at the next one, man. Shouts to DJ Abel. He says, Pilot, you're getting one of the best wordsmiths in South Jersey. Believe me, I know. Believe me, I know too. That's why she's sitting here. And the thing is, with your the way that you've utilized your experiences and the things that you've been through, now you're helping people.
Absolutely.
Right. That's what this show is about, is pretty much showcasing what you're doing for yourself and for people. You know, we're all about networking, we're all about helping people, and to have you on this platform, to have you on this show, to express that is something I want to say. I want to congratulations, but I want to say, I'll dap you up. How about that? From the heart, I want to say you're doing a good thing for the community, because you didn't take your experiences and just shelter it and do negative things. You didn't become a person that's angry at the world or angry at the people that did what they did to you. You know, you're actually doing it the whole nother way. And that's going to lead me into this segment that we do on Major Key Podcast. We do a segment called The Key to Success. You know, throughout all the things you've been through in your life, trials and tribulations, you're here, man. God first always. And that to me is great. But I want to know what the key to success is. As I hand you the key on Major Key Podcast, Season 3, Episode 6, what's the key to success?
The key is be you always.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You don't have to fake and bake for nobody. You stay true to yourself and you be who you are. We get to this point where we start changing for the limelight. You know what I mean? We start faking and baking because people are there, hands are being shaken, money is on the table. There's an atmosphere of quote unquote who we consider heavy hitters. Man, I'm the biggest heavy hitter in my mind. Okay. To me. Because I got to support me always. Yeah. But I have to be true to who I am. And that's the one thing people lose. We lose ourselves by trying to be something else for someone else. Nah. You got to be true to yourself. That's my key to success. Be true to who you are. Learn, live, love, and grow. And then, don't keep it and be stingy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
My thing is, we're raising 3 kings. You know what I mean? My oldest has graduated from high school. He's dibbling and dabbling in college. And we got 2 left.
Okay.
Got one that's getting ready to graduate and one that just became a freshman.
Salute.
If we can't show them, like, yo, this is how it's done. This is the proper way of doing it so that you do not lose yourself in the process. Our latter two are dominant athletes. You can take them anywhere in the world, but beyond that, they're students, honor students.
Yes.
It starts education.
Yes.
Your intelligence is everything. After you've gotten injured on the field, if that's where God takes you, what do you have to follow? And what do you have to fall back on? You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
You got to carry that education. That's your briefcase, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
She said the briefcase.
That's your briefcase.
Yo, and you taking that everywhere.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I could do that all day. That's why I read. That's why I keep my mind sharp, because when you can speak about it, walk it, talk it, and people can see it transpiring in your life.
Right.
I don't need to tell you it's transpiring.
Yeah.
When I walk past you, you're going to be like, yo, what's that smell?
What's that smell?
Did you smell that? That's my king, man.
That's that.
I put that joint in my mansion.
Yes.
It don't matter if it's a car. You know what I mean? Because I be on the road all the time. Right. It don't matter if I'm sleeping in a car, a hotel, if I'm sleeping on a bus, if I'm sleeping on a couch. Put that key in the mansion door. Everything is a mansion to me. I'm not living beyond my means.
Wow.
I'm living to be meaningful.
Yes.
It's a legacy I'm looking to build. And that's what we're going to do. And that's what we're going to keep doing. And a lot of people will hear me talk for days.
Yeah.
But they know I mean well.
Yeah.
They know who I am.
No, you about that action.
Yeah, always. I'm an activist. I'm on the grounds fighting for people's rights. And that right there, that's a whole nother journey. Bro.
Hold up, before we end the show, no, we still got time. I mean, if you got time?
I got time.
Because that's a part, I mean, now that you bring that up, I love the energy. Mm-hmm. Let's touch on that a little bit, because you are seriously active. I see it on your page. You're there for the people, especially during the Black Lives Matters marches and all that. You were really a part of that experience and living in these times. Elaborate a little bit on that and what's your impact, what you're trying to do, I would say, because everybody has their little piece they want to incorporate.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. It's one of the most nerve-wracking, scariest things ever, but if you don't go prayed up, you won't get it done.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because I recall, like, take for instance, we were in Brigantine. This young lady called me up.
Okay.
And I lived in Brigantine at the time. This young lady called me up. She said, we're doing a Black Lives Matter. And she was a white lady.
Okay.
We're doing a Black Lives Matter march in Brigantine. I said, really? And who's the curator of this? Because usually whenever something goes down, as God is my witness, people hit me when I tell you my phone doesn't stop. You gotta call Elle. You gotta call Elle, because she needs to be on this thing. And and it's like, you know, and I'm honored, I'm humbled, I'm very humble, because people know that I'm not afraid of the giants. I'm not afraid of people that bark louder than they really bite.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I've been in some scarring situations, and people have bitten me.
Right.
And I ain't gonna lie, it's a lot of politicians out there biting hard. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that I'm gonna keep getting bit and I'm gonna stay down. No, you're gonna hear my mouth when you go to sleep.
Absolutely.
And so, like, the young lady called me. When I tell you they threatened us, it was people that I never thought would do it that live in Brigantine. And I saw it, I said, oh my.
In Brigantine.
My sons played football with y'all kids. It just shows people's true colors when you clamp on to something that they dislike.
Right.
And yet the little people that's here, ain't but a handful of us over there.
Right.
But the little people that say something, you guys are talking about we gonna blow you up at the bridge.
Wow. They
had this girl shaking, scared. And I told her, she was calling me all kinds. I said, listen, let me tell you something. If there's one person that can prepare you for this, it's who you're talking to right now.
Right.
They're going to tell you, they're going to throw gasoline on you, they're going to spit, they're going to come after your family, they're going to tell you what color colored drawers you got on, they're going to tell you we're going to cut your toes off, we're going to poison your food, they're going to tell you everything under the sun, but you trust God.
Absolutely.
And stick to the course. Because if you get scared, the people that's walking behind you, where you think they're going to go? They're going to disperse. They're not going to show up.
Absolutely.
We was like maybe 200 deep. Wasn't that big, but it wasn't little.
Right. For brigantine, I think
we caused enough ruckus that day.
Yeah.
I was on the horns like, yo, blah, blah, blah. We going to be here. I'll be there. Yeah. And so the crazy part about it is that people don't expect you to step on their toes when it means the freedom of other people. Mm-hmm. How can you say Black Lives Matter, or how can you say all lives matter when Black lives don't matter? When you come across the board and you tell my son he's not allowed at the ice cream parlor, but he's not the only teenager out there, you're just pinpointing that one black face because it's a negligence, or because it's a pin, a thorn in your happiness for a millisecond. He deserved to get ice cream too.
Right, because he's a human being. Person, he's a teen. He's
not starting no trouble.
Right.
But you'll tell him that because you want to intimidate him when yet, like I said, 2 little white kids was on the platform of film just doing crazy stuff. You know, kids gonna be kids.
Yeah, right, absolutely.
You know,
they gonna do kid stuff
but
all
they
the time.
brushed that thing off so fast. Yeah. But when I recall during football season, when our Lane City kids were coming over to play, and a couple of them had a little sticky fingers, and they was in the dollar stores, you know, and I stepped to every one of them like, yo, man, freedom costs everything.
Absolutely.
But when I tell you they grandersize this thing, I said, kids are going to be kids.
And we were kids.
Right.
We forget about that, man.
Your kids are out here doing it. You don't believe me? Let me show you, because I got them on film.
Wow.
Like, it's just certain things that people make our kids, black faces, black kids, Latino kids, grander sized. They blow it up because they want them to feel intimidated. You don't want them to be victorious and successful. You want them behind bars. Say you want to see them in an orange jumpsuit. When I told that police officer that orange is not my son's color, they looked at me, and this is why we were reciting.
Right. It was over that.
Orange is not my son's color.
Yeah.
And for you to have the audacity to sit out here and think that your children are better than mine, you better check the grade portal first.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So you're not gonna say one thing and do it totally different.
Absolutely.
Indeed, like, no. Children will be children. They're curious. They wonder, but they're no different than yours.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
let's not treat them any different.
Black lives do matter.
Right.
And until Black lives matter, all lives don't matter.
Right.
Because if he's orange and he's coming over here paying tax-free, but I'm black and I got to pay taxes for everything, and I got to go through the 3rd degree just to get a loan from the bank, what kind of discrimination is that?
There's no equality.
Right, there's no equality. So I'm very passionate about those types of things. Now, I've been a while with Cape May, Ocean City. I've been on the bridges.
Right.
You know what I mean? Thank God for that level of understanding and for me in growth. Because I don't take any of it for granted.
Right.
Nothing.
You have a gift.
I mean, I don't take it for granted. I love people. Yeah. I'm very passionate about people. Right. And I feel like we all deserve a piece of peace. We deserve that.
Yes.
When I can go to sleep at night and be like, yo, my kids is good, baby.
Yeah.
I don't want none of what you got. You keep them.
You can have yours.
You know what I mean? All I need is a grill in the backyard, baby. That's it. And to know my kids are looking forward to the next level of journey, I'm good.
Right.
But when you come over here and interrupt my peace because you feel like I'm intimidating your children, or I'm stepping into whatever it is, and you live 3 blocks away, something's wrong with that picture.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not, like we said earlier, it seems to not go away.
Yes.
We keep dealing with it every day. I mean, I got stories in the morning, my morning show that I bring up, and I try not to beat it too much every day, because I could talk about it every day. It happens every single day.
It does.
And we seem to like, where is it getting any better? You know. But what I will say is, people like yourself inspire people like me and others around, because your voice, it captivates people, and it makes you want to be a part of the cause.
Yeah,
You know, and you empower people. And as you said earlier, you need to have that ability to have the mentality to be like, if I'm weak, everybody behind me gonna be weak.
Word.
I gotta stand up and stay firm to what I believe in right now. Because if I tell that officer any different, they gonna look at me like, oh man.
And I'm already big, bro. I'm already big, and people they stand behind me. They be looking out the side like, if Elle ain't gonna stop, I ain't stopping either. I'll be like, yo, keep going, keep going.
And you do it within a good in a good way. It's not like you out there being reckless. You're not out there shooting people or doing something crazy. Your word speaks volume. Mahatma Gandhi, Dr. Martin Luther King.
Man.
You know, these people didn't need any weapons.
These are people that our children have to, and they have to delve in. They're not even teaching the real in-depth stories like this in school.
Right, they're not.
It's brainwash. It's water.
They're not teaching kids how to write. I asked my son to write cursive or
they don't know
to read the cursive that I wrote. He was like, Dad, I can't read that.
Know.
I'm like, what? You
don't
can't
know.
read cursive?
Yeah.
Like, what are they teaching these kids in school? But as long as we have somebody like you around, Elle, it's been a pleasure to have you on Major Key Podcast, Season 3, Episode 6. Very, very insightful. We have to do it again because this is a piece of the history that that you have to give to us, and I want more. You know, we got to sit down and do this again. I want to work in other ways to the key to the mansion, right? Open up that mansion, baby. But this has been a pleasure to have you on here, Major Key Podcast. You know, shouts to everybody that tuned in, watched on Facebook. Once again, shouts to DJ Abel, who's been tuning in pretty much the whole episode.
Peace,
official. And to have you on the show, Elle, once again, it's been a pleasure. I really, really appreciate it. You came through for me. You know, Major Key Podcast, Season 3, Episode 6. Anything else you want to tell? Matter of fact, tell them where to find you, where your work is, everything. You got a couple books coming out. Get a little promo in before we end the show.
Elle Vintage, your girl here. You can find me on www.facebook.com/ either my fan page at Elle Vintage or L'Oreal Elle Vintage Crisp, CHRISP, or IG at Elle Vintage. I'm on SoundCloud at Elle Vintage, YouTube. I got a lot of videos up under L'Oreal Elle Vintage Poet. Listen, it's going down. We got work. We got things that have to be done. We're going to be all over the globe. I got some stuff coming out with the flowist herself. Okay. Natalie Stewart, we're doing some work. I am official flow poet for the United States and the Philly chapter for Miss Natalie Stewart, the flowist. And we've been doing some great things. I have work circulating all over the globe. We got some damage that we're about to cause. All right. You know what I mean? We've been sitting a little too long. You feel me?
Nah, but we've been sitting well. We've been working while we're sitting. You got to sit down to be at peace.
Yeah, you have to work when you're calm. You can't keep ripping and running. But yes, so her path after her pain, my life a neat mess. You can hit me up in my inbox. I will mail them to you if you want to. They're $30 a copy. I have some audio work that's getting ready to come out. Oh, shouts out to Sisters with Purpose, Miss Tanika Brock. I just did her event not too long ago, and when I tell you it was phenomenal, it was phenomenal. It's a sister circle, but they do empowering things and greatness in you with Dr. Nick. We empower the sisters and the women and the young ladies. So just keep looking out for Elle Vintage. I'm like, where's Waldo? You got to keep up with me, okay? I can't keep up with you. You got to keep up with Elle.
But you always working in the community. You empowering women, like you said, young women, men as well. You know, you're an example to where we all should be is mind frame. You know, physically, you're here with us, and thank God we was able to get this episode done. Shouts to the producer in the background, Dama O. Shouts to your better half. You said the boss, right?
The boss,
the
queen, the kangs. Listen, we a conglomerate.
Yes, indeed. And then once again, shouts to the big one up there for making this happen. Elle Vintage.
I love you, brother.
Love you too, man. Season 3, Episode 6 with Elle Vintage. We got it done. Major Key Podcast. We're on all platforms. Apple, Google, Pandora, iTunes. We're on every single platform, baby.